Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
I had a little stutter there. I thought for some reason you were going to say, I don't know what I thought there. We've dove straight into this because things are busy.
I know.
Things are busy. Iona's just back from our holiday. You're getting us whipped into shape here. I am scanning sheep all day, every day. Mm-hmm. We've managed to squeeze in this little half an hour to introduce our podcast interviewee today. This is a huge podcast.
I know, I'm excited.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'll do a wee bit about Graeme.
Yeah.
Graeme is a cattle hoof trimmer from Dumfries and Galloway. He is originally from a farming background. He's going to tell you all this stuff, but he now has well over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, somewhere in the region of about 3 million followers across all platforms.
That's mental, isn't it?
Insane. And he really has hit that viral video thing. But he also, farmers watch him too because you can learn something from the videos. You know, I've learned about putting blocks on, about white line cracks in the hoof, about Bovie Bond, I should say, Easy Fix that do the cattle stalls, all these weird brands and cattle things I would know nothing about if I didn't watch his videos. So he has really a cult following, like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah, it's a similar thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we've all got that wee sick bit inside us.
I know, but
What's your thing?
I like pus.
You like pus?
Pus and people getting knots out.
Knots out their back?
Yeah.
Do you mean knots out their back or like those ones where they crack the back?
No, I don't like that. I don't like it, like people cracking their fingers or anything.
But how would you ever see somebody getting a knot taken out? It's under the skin.
No, but you can hear it. So they put the mic really close up and you can hear it, like they push into the knots.
Right. I've always got one in my next to my right shoulder blade.
Have you?
Yeah, if I ever get a massage, I just spend the whole time on that and it's agony. But you do feel
like a nice pain.
Yeah, I think so. I
got Thai massages when I was away.
Oh, did you? Mm-hmm. What is that like?
It's quite an experience. It's not relaxing at all. Like their full bodies on you.
Well, that is interesting to know. And did you feel happy at the end?
No, I was sore.
Oh, you didn't. So you didn't have a happy ending.
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's sad. That's sad. That does not sound like a good massage at all. Imagine going to Thailand, getting a massage, and not having a happy ending. You're a rare thing, Iona. But the podcast today and every day moving forward is brought to you by Crystalix and Animax, and thanks again to them for coming on board. They've got some slick adverts, and we're going to hear about them throughout the podcast. Thanks again for them for coming on board. It makes it so easy for us because they just have all these minted, professionally edited advertisements, so we don't even need to really say anything about it.
No, I don't need to learn how to say funny words.
Yeah. Can you say Animax?
Animax.
And Crystalix?
Crystalix. Oh, is it not Crystalix?
What do you call it?
I would have said Crystalix.
Crystalix.
Oh, makes sense.
Because you lick it. It's like crystallized and you lick it.
That makes sense.
I know, it's just clever branding, but they spell it kind of different. You know, the Lix is like Lyx.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it just plays it.
Yeah.
Well, Lix is maybe a kind of...
Licks. I wouldn't like look at
Is it a bit of a dirty word?
Licks.
Yeah.
I mean,
when do you lick something and it's not, it's always a wee bit...
Lollipop?
Yeah, but even, talking about licking a lollipop is a bit suggestive.
Yeah, true.
Isn't it?
Yeah, anything to do with a tongue, I would say.
I think you're actually right. I can't think of an example where things you do with your tongue could it be anything other than suggestive. Please, guys, let us know in the comments. Give us some feedback. What can you do with your tongue that isn't inappropriate? I'm not saying licking is inappropriate. Can I just say?
No.
I'm not saying it, but it has connotations.
It does.
Inappropriate connotations, which links back to the happy ending thing. So yes, that's that covered. So Crystalix have avoided any connotations like that by changing the spelling of licks. And Animax, I'm guessing, is just a combination of maximising your animal.
Your animal, yep.
Animax, taking your animals to the max.
It makes sense.
It's clever. Not as clever as Fed by Farmers.
No.
But it's quite clever.
It actually is, and I feel like you should deep dive into that. Maybe not now, but maybe another time.
Will we do that on Thursday?
Yeah,
about how that all came about?
Let's do that.
Yeah, because we're like 12 podcasts in, or 13 podcasts, and I've not even really spoke about why it is. So, right, we'll talk about that on Thursday. This is already an hour and a half, this podcast.
Okay.
So we're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we're going to get into the interview. Let's go.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Traysure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
Crystalix Extra High Energy feed blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalix Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalix range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalix-global.com.
And here he is, Graeme Parker, the Hoof GP. Quite a big name. Is this a big name?
Big name, yeah.
Big name. Is this a bigger name than Alan Blackwood?
I'd say so, yes.
Yeah, I think
more widely known.
Yes, most of the world would agree.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It's quite weird because I know you so well. You're sitting there trying to look all professional. And
Yes,
stuff.
I know. I've got a wee list of things as well. Now, I do want to start. It's almost like, what's the point even saying who Graeme is? Because it'd be mental if you're watching this and you don't know who the Hoof. I'm not even going to go into it because they'll know. But I want to start by saying how you and I know each other so well.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people would have found it interesting that we're both involved in the Fiona thing and how that came to be.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever spoke to Graeme,
Oh, yeah, I don't know that.
and I think this is a great show your character as well. So that's why I want to get this in early. I had maybe 5,000 subscribers on YouTube and was just chipping away. I'd been at it for pushing on 2 years at that point. And I got a notification on my phone, as you do if someone with a lot of subscribers comments. It said the Hoof GP commented on your post.
Right.
I'm like, wow, because obviously I knew who the Hoof GP was. He was like the top Scottish YouTuber. Or maybe not at the top at that time, but certainly top farming one. And look up the comment and it's like, drop me a message. I'd love to, have a chat basically. And I dropped him a message with my phone number. And it was either that night or the next night, this phone number from down Newton Stewart Way, Wigton.
This sounds like it's leading up to marriage, doesn't it?
Phones up, we met online and I've been in love ever since. And you hear the phone going. At this point, Graeme had about 500,000 subscribers.
Right, okay.
Huge.
Yeah.
Videos getting 100 million views, massive. And answers the phone. Hi, Graeme here, blah, blah, blah. And we were on, I still remember, we were on for about 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. I remember.
45 minutes he gave me of advice and like tips. The best one, I still remember it, he said to me, so I'd recently done a video with putting a harness on my dog, my sheepdog.
Right.
Can I just preface this? I actually felt bad how harsh I was about this. Okay.
You said Ashley gave you a hard time about it.
She did, yeah.
So, but it was good, honest feedback. So he says to me, your name's terrible. The name of the video's terrible because I
Right.
called it, I put a harness on Meg.
Okay.
Okay. It says the name of your video is terrible because when you're naming a YouTube video, you want it to draw in the people who don't already know who you are. So your subscribers will watch it anyway.
Okay.
Because they like you
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
want to watch your videos. So no matter what you call your video, they'll watch it. Your title and your thumbnail has to be aimed at the people that don't know your videos. They don't know who you are.
I think I said
Okay.
something along the lines of, who cares about Meg?
yeah. Nobody cares who Meg is.
And I didn't mean it in those literal terms.
No.
Well, I did, but I meant people who don't know you.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
you said, like, for instance, I would have called it, I put a GoPro on my sheepdog and you won't believe what happens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Clever,
I can see
eh?
the difference, yeah.
So, and that would draw, like, oh, what happens? I'm going to watch that video. And that would have drawn people. And yeah, I used that ever since, like, always thinking my titles, like, keeping it as close to what actually happens in the video, but if you can make it a bit more exciting sounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Like we go to market and spend a fortune.
Yeah, I always liken it to a newspaper. If you get 10 newspapers in front of you and one of them says man steps off bicycle and the other one says man falls to his peril from extremely high bike, you've got to
like-
dramatize
just
it a
the
little bit. It's got to
wording,
be completely true, but you need to dramatize it in a way as well, don't you?
Yeah.
And that some people could say, oh, you're just chasing views and things. And yeah, we are chasing views, but the message that's behind any of your videos and things, you need the views to get that message out. So
Yeah.
you need to draw people in, don't you?
Yeah.
You need
make
that
sense?
hook.
Yeah.
And obviously, with your channel, and rather than me talking the whole time, we will ask you some things at some point. But with your channel,
I'll be first.
you have. I know I'm terrible. I've actually said, and guys, I bet you every time I do Iona, I watch the edit back, and every time the person stops speaking, Iona's about to ask something, and I'm like, what about this? And like just totally cut her off, and like I see her face, she's going. the whole time it's like, Cammy, you need to relax.
I can almost see Iona thinking, I know this one.
Yes, so I've said to her just to get butt in and say, Cammy, shut up, I'm asking this. But you have obviously the greatest hook of all, this foot fetish, this gore and pus, these thumbnails that you do.
Yeah,
See, for people who don't know, the small minority who don't know who Graeme is, that is going to sound odd.
Yeah, you're going to need to explain it.
I think there does need a wee bit of background.
Now, is it a foot fetish that your viewers have, or is it just the general, that ASMR, you see a problem, the hero comes along, fixes it, and things are better?
So Cammy's just assuming you all know exactly who I am. I trim cows' feet on YouTube.
Give us your bit.
I trim cows' feet on YouTube and I document my life in southwest Scotland. I romanticise it because I absolutely love it, but the life and times of a hoof trimmer can be interesting, and as you saw, it's a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Like, genuinely, last night I couldn't stop. But I also don't understand what it is. Also, it's not a foot fetish because they're hoofs. They're nothing like.
No, I'm only joking. I know it's not a foot fetish.
It's a hoof fetish.
A hoof fetish.
It's a hoof fetish. Yeah.
But it's Dr. Sandra Lee, Dr. Pimple Popper. It's the same. It's that meets Bondi Vet meets somebody who's like loving their life. Because I love my life. I genuinely do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
obviously I have crappy days and stuff like everybody else, and I only show the good stuff. But it's like about romanticising it, but showing the actual realities of farming. But the gore and like, you can't look away. It's like car crash TV, innit?
But what is that? Like pulling out that nail, and I'm just like itching for it to go on longer.
That massive nail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge on it.
But like, what is that? Why do you want to watch it?
Yeah, do you ever get your mouth like salivating it? Like, geez, what is this I'm watching? It's like, this is so gory. Like, yeah, it does me too.
It's like
Do you know what it does me with his videos? It's the knife. I find myself like seeing you're about to show a sole ulcer, and that way or a pus is about to come, and you flick with a knife, and my head starts going, this time. This time. And he's got a lovely balance, because I'm quite into, trying to suss out how to make these videos like he does. And he's got a lovely balance of just leaving you hanging on that for long enough without it being boring.
Yeah.
Do you know, so you'll leave, like, you could leave 30 seconds in of just knife trimming and nothing else. And you're like, this time. And then it opens up at the right time before you lose interest.
Yeah.
You just hook them in. And
Unfortunately, you can't lose interest in real life, though. You have to keep going regardless of whether
yeah.
or not.
You can trim it back later on. But let's go right back to the start, because we're obviously going to talk about YouTube, and we'll ask you some of the questions I've been desperate to ask you. And to be fair, a lot of them I know the answers to in terms of the YouTube, because you're very open, and we're very good friends as well, so that helps. But let's go back to the early days.
Okay.
Because I know, it's funny because I know but I don't know. So I know you had quite a wild childhood.
Right.
Would that be fair to say?
It's fair to say that, yeah. It depends exactly what you're talking about.
Tell us how you grew up.
So I grew up on, we had two farms, beef and sheep, 766 acres between the two. We ran like 300 cows, 600 sheep. Just the same as like everybody, a lot of people listening to this, like I was going to be a farmer. That like, it wasn't a question of what am I going to be when I'm older. Like I was just going to be a farmer. But then everything kind of changed. Dad went off the rails, mental illness and all that kind of stuff got in the way. I'm going to spit out a few different things here that kind of happened. So, for instance, mother and father started a company called Scottish and Baltic Russian Enterprise, Sabre. So they were trading between Eastern Russia and Scotland, and it was at a time where like it was basically a third world country, Russia, and it was like a scary, scary place. So we had like Russian diplomats come and stay with us and all that kind of stuff. Long story short, Dad ended up having an affair with an Olympic ice skater. Here's a couple of random facts.
Not Torval and Dean.
Not Torval and Dean, no. Tatiana, her name was actually. Yeah, that's properly stereotypical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stereotypical.
This is wild.
No, well, it got a lot wilder. So at one point, Father tried to shoot us on a golf course in front of 70 people that we knew. police escort off the golf course.
Try to shoot you.
Yeah, me and my mother. Yeah. And the police never actually believed us at the time. It was absolutely mental. It was crazy. Well, it's exactly as it sounds. Front page of the Sun. It was everywhere.
God.
Yeah.
Did he?
You didn't see it going that way.
So this is why you're not allowed to ask questions.
I know, it's too much now. God, I was letting you get right in there with that one.
I don't know where to start. Right, okay. So on a golf course,
Yeah.
first of all, were you playing golf?
No, my mother was playing golf with my brother. So our farm, to put a bit of context in it, one of our farms was called the Knock, and basically years and years ago, part of that farm was St. Meaden's golf course, and they sold it to become a golf course.
Okay.
So you had to drive through the farm to get to the golf course. It's a public road, but basically we were driving down it one day on the way to this golf competition, and I was 14 at the time, I want to say. Mum was playing with my elder brother James, and I was going to be caddying. So yeah, we started playing. Well, we didn't start playing actually. We were driving down the road, and he was standing right in the middle of the road, and Mum and Dad had obviously they split up like a couple of years before. And he was standing right in the middle of the road, and we had to pull off the road and drive around him. And we were like, "Oh, like what on earth's going on here?" Like, and he just, just looked at us. There was no shouting, no swearing, no drama, nothing like that. But obviously, it still puts the willies up you kind of thing. So we went down, kind of tried to forget about it. Then so basically, it's like a plateau, the golf course, and the farm sits above it on cliffs that you can walk up, but cliffs.
And at this point, did you not really have much contact with your dad?
Nah, I saw him the odd time, like every sort of month or so. He'd really gone off the rails, like really.
Right, okay.
So he was genuinely a fantastic farmer, like a really, really brilliant farmer. Fantastic at raising Charolais cattle, like really went into the pedigree side of things before people were really doing that. Like now people were always doing it, but now it's much more prevalent, isn't it? And at the time he was really well known for raising good beef and things, but he went totally off the rails, like just completely, like mental illness. Farm was in debt. It was at the time when interest rates were colossal, so they were really struggling, which is no excuse for trying to shoot your family, but you know what I mean.
No. Okay.
So I make light of it because it hasn't affected me in the way that it possibly should have done. Anyway,
Okay.
No, but it's what else you do? You sit here and greet.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, we're on the golf course. I saw him lying down. He was shouting and swearing at my brother and things, and we tried to ignore him.
You saw him lying down?
Well, no, yeah, he was standing up to begin with, and he came down the hill, and he was like shouting and swearing at my brother, and which is obviously, there's lots of other people on the golf course, so it's incredibly embarrassing. Mother was just trying to ignore him. I wasn't too upset at the time, actually. I remember just thinking, oh, come on, world, open up and swallow me up.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared away up the hill, and we thought, oh yes, he's gone. And we continued on to the next green, actually. And I'm looking up thinking, why is he lying down? That's quite strange. And then I thought, wait a minute. When you're taking a shot, you lie down a lot of the time with a rifle. And then I realised he had a rifle in his hand. And at the time, there was no noise or anything like that because he had a suppressor or silencer on it. I can remember it was a Walther 22 rifle. I remember it perfectly because I used to shoot it myself. And so basically, we were crouching down, hiding behind this little now.
So at this point, you were.
Oh yeah,
you were
right, now
he's
you're
got a gun.
panicking.
He's got a gun.
Well, imagine the scene, right? So nobody else could see it. They knew he was there. Nobody else kind of realised what was going on. And I'm thinking, is that a gun?
Yeah.
Should I say something? I might be wrong. Should I say something? I'm like, Graeme, you kind of need to say something. So I was like, right, we need to get down. So we all got down. The people playing with us got down. Then he eventually stood back up on his feet, jumped back on the bike, and actually drove along to be above the next green. And we were like, oh, whatever happened. The police had to come escort us off. And the police...
So at this point, had you phoned the police?
Yeah, we had to phone the police to take us off the golf course, yeah, because obviously he was...
You didn't know where it was?
Well, no, we could see him. We
Right.
could see him, and we could see he still had the gun. And so it became very clear. But at that point, I thought he had fired a shot, but no one else did.
Okay.
And then the police said they couldn't find the gun. And my brother went back, and he found 2 spent shells. So he definitely had shot it at least twice. So yeah, he got 30 days community service. Well, 30 days, it was like 30 hours. It was like so little, it was unbelievable, yeah.
That's mad, eh? That's mad.
How can that Cammy, how can that happen?
Yeah, it's mad,
I
isn't it?
don't blame the police, blame the prison service. I don't. That's crazy. Do you know that kind of scene you're depicting there reminded me of? Do you ever remember the episode of Still Game when they're on the golf course and the BAMs are shooting them with their rifles?
That was pretty much it. I think it was inspired by that, actually, to be fair.
That's what a way
Yeah.
to start.
That
There's
is-
something you didn't know about Hoof GP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was all over the Sun. It was all over the national newspaper.
it?
So
Yeah.
that was the most embarrassing part of it.
What age were you then, sorry?
14.
Oh,
So you know, like
high
right in the
school.
thick of it at school,
Jeez.
and I never really felt like I
And what high
fitted
school
in.
did you go to?
The Douglas Stewart.
Right, okay.
But I was one of those people. I always assumed nobody liked me. I still do. I still do. I don't know.
You're
but
not far wrong.
Well, yeah. But like, I don't know. I've always just assumed that. Like,
Do you?
Yeah. Even now, and I just assume people don't know who I am, and they won't know my name, even if I've met them 5 times. I'll be like, I'll just ignore it, and then they'll think I'm really. They'll think I'm really rude, and I'm really don't want to speak to them because I'm up myself. But really, I'm thinking they won't know who I am, so I won't say hello. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and I think all of that maybe comes from back then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's bound to have left a
It's-
mark.
yeah.
Like,
It's got to have left some kind of mark, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Skid marks in my boxers at the time.
certainly that day.
Yeah.
Did you ever have you had contact with your dad since?
Oh, come on. I shouldn't make you feel bad. So he was found floating in a river, dead a few years later.
I only found this out during the Fiona thing, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
so basically in North Yorkshire, he was found by a dog walker floating in a river
goodness.
just outside Scarborough. And at the time, there was loads of there was an inquest and all sorts of things, and it got deemed inconclusive.
Okay.
So they thought somebody had killed him. And we thought somebody had killed him for years and years and years. We didn't know what had happened or anything like that. And
Was that because of his sort of background with the trading with Russia and things?
No, just him being an idiot, to be honest.
Okay.
Just him being an idiot and annoying people down south. And we just thought, because his wallet was found in someone's back garden. And we were like, this is weird. His car was 3 miles away with a smashed window.
Okay.
yeah.
It all just seemed really, really strange. It got deemed inconclusive. He hadn't died from drowning, so he could have been dead before he went in the water, all that kind of thing.
Okay.
So for years and years, we all genuinely assumed that he'd been offed, and didn't really that. That was it. It was kind of weirdly there was no closure. We didn't really know what had happened until I'll fast forward all the way till last year, believe it or not. So that happened in 1998. So it's a long time ago, 25 years ago. And last year, actually, we went to where he was found for the very first time. And the second I got there, I knew what had happened. Instantly. And I started laughing. I was there with my 2 sisters and my now wife. And basically, there were stepping stones there. His shoes had been found on one side of the river. His car was on the other. And he was floating. And to me, it just made perfect sense. He'd been crossing the river, slipped, banged his head and died. Because he'd thrown his shoes over to the other side of the river from his car. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he wasn't
But
wearing
why
any
would he-
shoes?
Why would he be crossing stepping stones in a river?
I don't know.
And
I
why
don't
was
know.
his window smashed in his car?
Because he'd lost his keys and his wallet in that person's garden.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But there was basically, took a really dark turn, isn't
No, but
it?
it's fascinating because,
fascinating, yeah.
like I say, it was only during the Fiona thing that you told me about a lot of this stuff, but not in any great detail.
Yeah.
So, interesting for me to hear as well.
I genuinely think this sounds so coined and contrived or whatever, but I think you grow from things like that. I really, really do. And I think you start to understand that the only way they can impact your life is if you allow them to, because it's just a thing that happens. It's not, it's not happening right now. It's not like somebody's hitting me in the face. It happened, and you just gotta get on
But you can
with
see
it.
how it would turn folk a bit. It would affect people mentally.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Why are you looking at me like that?
But even just, I'm just a bit worried. I'm worried about you, mate. This is your counselling session.
Yeah.
Even just normal breakups at that age can.
So it never
cause
affected
issues.
me
Yeah.
until I had kids. Now that I've got kids, it's like, I wonder what he would have thought of this, and I wonder what he would have thought of that, and what would they have thought of him, and all that. Because he was an incredibly intelligent person. He really was, and he was a fantastic farmer. He just totally went off the rails.
Was he a good dad before that?
To me, he was. Because I was just farming orientated. All I cared about was cows and sheep and Charlie calves mostly. That's all I cared about. So from he was like a farmer dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
he wasn't in the house playing with us and all that kind of stuff. Like there was none of that. It was just farming. But I was with him all the time. So to me, he was a fantastic dad to me, but a terrible husband. So, like I say, like you just...
Plus there's that rose tint of youth and...
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not really seeing the whole picture because you're young and memories, it softens, time softens everything.
And you know what, sometimes that's a nice thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, totally. So we wrote a book. I'm not here to plug it, but we wrote it, and I've decided I haven't decided whether I'm releasing it or not. And me and my brother wrote it together, and I didn't realize how much stuff I had blocked out. Like he was like, "Oh, remember such and such." I'm like, "No, that never happened." He's like, "Yeah, it did," and he would tell me, and I'm like, "Ah," and like it was a great process. Yeah. So every Monday, for almost a year, I want to say, we spoke on the phone for 2 hours via Zoom, just about like childhood growing up, and then my life in Lancashire, and my life in the Highlands, and all these kind of different things. And it was an awesome process. I loved it.
That's really interesting.
But you've had this book written for over a year, have you not?
Yeah.
Because I think you were supposed to. You told me you were going to release it last Christmas.
Yep.
And you bottled it.
Yeah,
just because of how many, all kind of these details and things.
Yeah, and others. That's a story for another time.
You have to leave some things for the book.
We'll go with that.
Get the book for that one.
So what happened? So what age were you when your father died?
15 or 16. 15 I was,
So what happened then with the farm?
So basically, the reason I don't farm, the reason my brothers don't farm, is because the farm was co-owned by my grandmother and my father, 50-50 as far as I know. And there was a clause in the partnership that whoever died first, the other partner could buy their share for 10 quid. So obviously, my grandmother was supposed to die first, and she didn't. So Dad passed away. Grandmother bought the farm for 10 quid and sold the lot. Despite us really trying to hold on to it, despite us wanting to pay for it, wanting to farm it.
Yeah.
And the obvious question is, could we have farmed it?
It was because it's a tough spot for her as well. We used being so young.
Yeah, so yes and no. James was 18, and a lot of people watching this are very knacky and handy 18. And James, my second eldest brother, he could completely have run that farm. I've absolutely no doubt about it. And that wasn't the issue. The issue was they always felt that the farm was a bad omen. They didn't. Okay. They just felt like it would be a noose around our necks. And basically a friend of Dad said, "Look, I'll buy it if you need to buy it." And so the offer was there. It wasn't even like she had to find a buyer. Yeah. It was instantly. Okay. It was just a transaction.
Came to her.
Just done. Yeah. Gone. So the whole thing went, and that was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Because if you sort of had set up your life, you were always going to be a farmer. Yeah. That's what was happening. Absolutely, and the farm was taken.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like childhood memories. So one farm was where all the rose-tinted memories are from, and it was fantastic. That was where we lived first. Then the problem with the interest rates went crazy, and they sold off the farmhouse and a little bit of that farm, and we moved into what we called the dump, which is the Knot Cottage, which is just a tiny little cottage, 2-bedroom cottage, 3-bedroom cottage. 5 kids, 2 dogs, mum, dad, in this little 3-bedroom cottage. And I do mean tiny. Like, it was absolutely minuscule. And we'd moved from this beautiful home basically across the road to this little cottage. And then everything was taken away. Again, we weren't super, depressed and upset about it. It was like, oh, come on, give us a break. It was like that. But we've all ended up, doing pretty well. So yeah.
So what do some of your siblings do?
So my eldest sister, we've got a coffee shop in Wigtown. It's not mine, it's my mother's, Coffee Rendezvous. She runs that. She is an absolute weapon when it comes to hospitality.
So did she start that after leaving the farm?
So Mum did, yeah.
Yeah.
Mum bought a little coffee shop. She's had it for 24 years. So yeah, just after Dad passed away, she bought that, and she's had it ever since. And we've all, apart from my second eldest brother, James, worked in it at some point. So James, he's James Parker Sculpture. He's all over the world doing sculptures. Bob is an aspiring YouTuber, actually. And actually fantastic, isn't he?
Scotland Unplugged.
Scotland
Should give
Unplugged,
it a shout out. Yeah,
He's-
all Scottish history and really interesting stories.
okay.
His videos are better than mine. Like, genuinely. I'm not even joking. They are.
Yeah, we actually learned something from his videos.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. Yeah. You learn what not to do when you watch mine.
Yeah, no, he is actually very good. So Scotland Unplugged, and definitely worth having a look at James Parker Sculpture.
Yeah.
And James was a part of the Fiona rescue as well.
Yeah.
Just very randomly, just
Winchman.
gave him a shout. Yeah, gave him a shout and said, "Do you want to come and give us a hand here?"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sure it was a shock to him when it went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah. And then my younger sister, she is married to Craig, who works with me, and she is. I'm not actually sure what she does.
So she's the most successful of you all.
Yeah, probably because she's married to Craigie
She's
boy.
got Craig.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Yeah. He really looks up to her, actually.
No short people jokes here, please. So no, that's yeah. So I always did think that about you, especially obviously your sister and James and Bob quite well from different events, your 40th and different things I've met them at.
Yeah.
Definitely impressive people, an impressive group of people. I would say. Yeah, your mum must be quite proud.
No, I don't think so. No. Probably of those four,
She
yeah.
got stuck in at the coffee shop. I tell you,
It's
don't know what
funny
you're missing.
because of what's in my videos. She loves to share James and Bob's videos and things, and mine rarely get a mention. She's like,
At
at least that's why I'm saying it.
you don't need the shares. But so the farming wasn't an option for obvious reasons that you've described. What did you do?
I did what any person does: fled the country. Well, fled the Shire anyway. I left Wigtonshire. So when I was at school, I hated school. Couldn't stand it. Genuinely, like I say earlier, I'm not putting it on. I'm forcing myself to be open here, and because I know you so well, I can actually be open and be more myself on this. So when I was at school, I just assumed nobody liked me. Don't know if that was the case or not, but I definitely felt like that. Yeah. So when I was 15, all this stuff happened with Dad. I was like, right, I'm leaving. So I went to Dumfries, studied hospitality for 3 years, studied photography, information technology, IT, did all of that at Dumfries and absolutely loved it, like really, really loved it. So that's where YouTube comes from as well. It's not just, I don't just make YouTube videos to make YouTube videos. I genuinely love photography and I love like videography and I like playing and
Yeah, well, and how high end your videos are, folk can tell that.
I genuinely love
Edit,
them.
the edit's just like the way you film it and edit it's just like draws you right in.
I appreciate that, like because when we're editing, if I watch it back and if I'm bored in the slightest, I'm like, cut it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long I've taken doing it.
Murder your darlings. That was
Yeah,
another thing you
murder
told me
your
in that phone
darlings.
call.
Yeah.
What?
It just came back to me there. I always remember he told me murder your darlings. So it's a term in English. It's a term in writing, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
And it comes from Shakespeare or someone said it. I don't know, some clever person. But it's murder your darlings. So it means no matter how much you love those people, say, or that part of the story, if it doesn't make the story better, cut
Yeah.
it.
Cut it.
So you
Right,
could spend
okay.
you could spend hours and hours doing whatever it is and set up the shot and make it amazing. But if it doesn't work, you
Just
gotta
cut
cut it.
But it's hard.
Take the hit,
It is so hard.
Because you've spent the time and you like it, but when you watch it back, you're like, or a fresh pair of eyes watches it and says, cut that, and you're like,
Yeah.
So that's murder your darlings. That's
I like that.
It's a clever term.
I wonder when Shakespeare wrote it if he was thinking.
Well, I don't know if thinking about it ever been used in a Hoof GP video.
Yeah.
One day, cow's feet thou shall out. I don't know any Shakespeare. I was trying to do a Shakespeare.
That surprises me. I feel like you would know Shakespeare.
He should, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he knows
I'm
the Scottish
Burns.
equivalent.
Yeah, I'm Burns.
Yeah, that's true.
Shakespeare's a poor man's Burns, isn't he?
Did you go to Burns at school?
Did we? No, I didn't.
You
actually.
must have done.
No, I didn't.
Does not everybody in Scotland not do Burns?
Oh, we would. Yeah, you'd have to learn. Yeah, you would. But I wouldn't. I never actually stood up. You know, some people stand up. And,
Yeah, we did that.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah. We were like at gunpoint.
Yeah,
Do
well,
it.
a lot of kids are.
Touchy subject.
Yeah.
Graham.
Oh, yes, oh, sorry. Jesus Christ, Graham.
Jesus,
fact-
seriously?
It's not, only he's allowed to make that joke. Oh, I love it. Maybe that's what your dad wanted, a wee bit of Burns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, so we never. Weirdly, actually, now I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it, right?
that's
Unless I just can't remember it.
Yeah,
but no.
maybe.
But yeah, and that is one of my.
Pet
Yeah.
peeves.
You've brought it back to me. I was saying Iona, and I should have teed you up for this, but maybe you have one. We're going to start asking every guest something that grinds their gears. You know, what grinds your gears, what annoys you. And mine is, you've just brought it back to me, is that for 11 months of the year, parents around Ayrshire particularly, because we speak a lot of Scots here, will tell their kids, don't speak like that, speak properly. And then for a month of the year, they're all like, oh, speak like that, learn your Burns. That's good Scots and all that. But actually, when they speak Scots the rest of the year, they call it slang and say, don't speak like that.
But I think there is a difference between slang and Scots.
Do you think? I don't.
Yeah.
Give me an example. Here we go. Brought to you by Fed by Farmers. Is it slang or is it Scots? The new game show. Here we go. Iona.
I need time to think of it once.
Give me one,
I'm
give
not
me one.
good on the spot.
Give me one. What do you
Had your
think?
wished.
Right.
Scots.
Oh yeah. Okay, I back that.
Yeah,
Scots. Gonna no do that.
Oh, tough one there. Tough one
Just
there.
put the cat amongst pigeons there.
I'd probably give you that on the slang side.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just don't remember Burns saying it.
I don't think Burns ever said, "Hey, go need to do that."
Just as Tam O'Shanter's running for the brig, he turned to Cutty Sark and he exclaimed, "Gonna no do that, Cutty Sark!"
You absolutely, the world needs a modern Tam O'Shanter. It needs a modern Tam O'Shanter, and you need to be the one to write it.
Could you imagine? Gonna no do that, and she exclaimed, "How? just gonna no." Can you imagine? So there we go, and that was Slanger Scots. That's just gold. That is absolutely gold, isn't it? Never thought I'd seen this going that way.
No, that took a real
I think how you
tangent.
can make a difference.
Actually crying.
I think how you can see the difference is if it's in still game, it's slang.
No, well, sometimes, but hold your wish. They might say that. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Plus, it is still Scots, is it no?
Scots slang?
Well, that is still kind of Gonny. Gonny's maybe no Scots. It probably isn't Scots.
No.
Gonny?
Gonny.
I don't know. That's
Or just like no.
No,
No.
Scottish. That's got to be Scottish.
No, would be Scots, I would think.
Definitely.
I think it would
Would
fall in
it?
that. I think it would. A great thing with Scots, just for anyone that wonders what we're talking about, so it's like, it's seen as a language, it's accepted that it's a language, but it probably has some sort of, it's more of a dialect, I suppose. But it's spoken quite a lot and this is one for Bob to be doing actually, in Scotland Unplugged. It's spoken a lot more in the lowlands down here where we are below the Highlands, and certainly up the east coast where Doric has spoken. They speak a lot of Scots, and actually we never really spoke Gaelic down here,
Right.
And I used to always wonder why do people up north where Gaelic was rife, why do they speak so posh? Why do they speak so
It's
well?
because they had to learn English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so they had to they were taught by English teachers.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's why people in Inverness and in the Western Isles and they speak such good English.
We just sound like a bunch of heathens.
Yeah. Because we never had to change because we already kind of spoke English. So why bother?
Yeah. Okay.
You
know
probably
what I
just assumed we didn't have the intelligence to learn Gaelic. So they thought we'd do it around the other way.
Well, back then, Ayrshire didn't have the golf courses and stuff. There was nothing here for them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing really here. We do have a lot of castles, right enough. But
Nice.
in fact, I can tell Ayrshire, because we are so south, like we would have just been bought and paid for. Like, we wouldn't be a hassle because we'd just be living off the English money. That's probably what built most of
Yeah.
the castles. But hey, we digress. So still, I'm so looking forward to cutting that Scots or not. Careers, I've wrote here. What did you get into then? You did photography. Where did you end up?
Careers.
Working? Yeah.
You got a big long list.
But I think the only one I actually know that you did was, well, I know 3, including hoof trimming. So I know that you were a bar manager
Yep.
and you did freeze branding.
Can I just stop you actually? England's youngest licensee.
England's
Wow.
youngest
English
licensee.
youngest licensee at one point.
And you did freeze branding.
Yep.
And then hoof, that's all I really know. So what else have you done?
I was a butcher.
Were you?
I was a butcher for 3 years, yeah.
An
Whereabouts?
apprenticeship?
For 3 years.
Or?
I was starting to do one, yeah. It was for Safeways. Believe it or not, yeah, Safeways
Right.
in the
I remember
face.
Safeways.
Yeah. And so there was a fishmonger and butchery, and it was full butchers, full carcasses, and you'd butcher the whole thing. I actually learned in Stranraer, believe it or not, doing hospitality management.
No, hang on a minute.
That's so weird.
This can't keep happening.
What?
This is the 5th podcast that we've mentioned Stranraer.
No.
Stranraer just keeps coming up.
It is weird. I suppose he is from that area, you'd expect
Yeah,
it, but
no.
that is 5th podcast. And weird
5
things.
out of what, like
Yeah.
8?
Like weird reasons folk keep mentioning. One was our Kaz our vet mate was talking about Gore in New Zealand and say, I suppose it's kind of like Stranraer, suggesting that Stranraer might be a bit of a dive, which it is not.
You learning to swim in the outdoor swimming
I
pool?
learned to swim there, yes, so many reasons. But
It's
sorry to
affectionately
interrupt
known
that.
as the arsehole of Scotland because it's so far south.
Yeah,
I think that's because it's so far south.
well,
I can't think of another reason.
That is what Kaz. Yeah, that is basically what Kaz was alluding
alluded
to.
to,
He was certainly speaking about it in a derogatory manner, but great dairy country.
Yeah.
So sorry, you were learning in Safeways in Stranraer. Safeways was a supermarket before it went
Yeah,
bust.
yeah. So I was a fishmonger and learning to be a butcher. They are full carcasses all the way down, and I learned how to butcher everything from deer to lamb to beef. It's all fairly similar, to be fair. At the John Niven Centre, believe it or not, in Stranraer. Yeah, so I was there for a year and a half. I loved it. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, and obviously it gave me a foundation for what I later took on properly. And like I was running restaurants, pubs, hotels for 11 years. So yeah, all over the place.
Whereabouts?
Mostly,
In that area?
mostly in the Fylde in Lancashire. So
Right.
In the where?
the Fylde, it's called the Fylde
Is that
Coast.
an area?
So yeah, it's actually about 2 miles from Tom Pemberton's farm.
Okay.
Literally just up the road, a wee little place called Clifton. I lived in a windmill. It was a 6-story windmill, and I lived in the windmill. So yeah, proper round.
Cool life.
Oh, it was beautiful.
He's had a life.
It
Hasn't
was,
he?
yeah.
I feel like there's even more. You know,
Yeah, I
like-
can't wait to get the book.
I could talk all day, and you might not believe some of it.
No, but like, just write it in the book and it must be true.
Yeah.
No, that's fascinating. So yeah, you did that, bar imagine. When did you come back to agriculture?
So I was running a hotel called the Loch Ness Inn in Lewiston at Drumnadrochit on Loch Ness.
Yeah.
And then basically I'd kind of been promised it was going to be something it wasn't. And it turned out it wasn't that. My stepfather, who was David McGarvey and had a really big hoof trimming business, he took ill. He had an abscess in his spine. So he was in hospital, and his business was going down the pan because there was nobody to look after it. So I came home. I was like, I'll just come home, I'll run it. But I couldn't hoof trim. So I was like, well, I'll freeze brand for a bit. So I started doing
What is that?
putting numbers on bums, basically.
Right.
Like cow's bums, not just any old bum.
Yeah.
Like, so you basically cool the irons down to like minus 78 degrees and then freeze brand them. And I took real pride in it. Like, I love my numbers coming out better than anyone else's. Like, proper loved it. And but I was going all over Scotland.
And we should say for anyone wondering, this would be like I suppose it's a very American thing, like you see in Yellowstone, where they heat the irons and burn it on. Over here, we put them in liquid nitrogen. Is that right? And do you use liquid nitrogen?
No,
or
it's
would you
dry,
actually
dry
use?
ice. It's illegal
Just
to
dry
do
ice.
hot branding over here. Plus, the brands don't come out white. We change the pigmentation of the hair. We don't kill the hair
Skin
follicle.
cells.
Yeah, that's right.
okay.
Yeah. So
and it works great on obviously black and white cattle.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it
What
reverts
is the
back to
purpose?
just management.
Rather than the ear tag?
But you can't read an ear tag in the parlour.
Oh, okay.
Reading ear tags in
Right.
parlours, obviously genus or cogent or whatever AI in cows. So you're looking at the bums rather than anything else.
Yeah, it makes
So it's much more identifiable.
Even see her in the field if
Yeah.
you want to pull her out that morning for a sore foot or she's
Yeah.
bulling.
Yeah, much easier.
Exactly. It's really, really valuable. They used to do it in Suffolk sheeps. They burn them on the horn. No, on Suffolk.
Blackies.
Horns, blackies, sorry.
Yeah.
Blackies.
Do that. We still do that. For
Yeah. So it's a similar kind of thing. So I did that for a couple of years, but I was going all over the Highlands and Islands, and I loved it. I really loved it. Met some amazing people, especially down Campbelltown, up north, like on Gia, Islay. Like, I absolutely loved it. Like, just so many amazing stories that, again, they don't even sound true, half of them, because they could only really happen on the islands. Like, they're just amazing.
Had you met was it your wife at this point?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'd met her and we were kind of dating and stuff. And she would actually come with me, but didn't want to get dirty. So she would come with me and sit in the van reading a magazine. But I was here, there, and everywhere. It was like constantly. One day, I actually remember literally, I was in Newton Stewart freeze brand, and then I went to Girvan the next day, and someone said, "Oh, what are you doing this afternoon?" And I said, "Well, see that rock out there," pointing at Ailsa Craig, and he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm working on the other side of that this afternoon, meaning in Campbelltown." Then from Campbelltown, I went home, freeze branded at Newton Stewart the next day, and the day after that, I drove to the Innises all the way up at Nairn. So it was literally just non-stop, and I loved it, but it gets tiring. Yeah.
Yeah, run
that's
its course.
mental miles.
Yeah, that's insane.
In Campbelltown to Newton Stewart will be 5.5 hours.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. I always told people Campbelltown was like the best place in the world. It is an awesome place, but it's the worst place ever to get to.
So ridiculous, isn't it?
All those sea lochs, you know.
I only found out recently you can fly to Campbelltown.
Yeah, because they've changed somebody's been very clever with the Tipex at Campbelltown Airport. So it says Camel Toe Airport. That's every single sign. Every sign.
Yeah.
So but Campbelltown is an awesome place. There's like some amazing people down there. But yeah, then I was doing that for so long, I was starting to get a bit sick of it, and people kept saying, "You should be foot trimming." I'm like, I will never foot trim a cow's foot in my life. Mark my words. And they'd be like, "Yeah, sure you won't." I'm like, "Nah, absolutely no way."
Why not? What?
It's
Why
just
were you
dirty and horrible and gross and all that pus and and it's brutal on you. Like, it's such a hard job. It's like, especially when you're starting out. Now we've got all the gear.
Is it bad for your back?
Yeah. Not now. It used to be. When I first started, it was.
Crush was on the ground and you had to rope the feet up and winch them up.
Yeah. Use the windy handle on the side, and then something would let loose and the steering wheel would go flying out your hand and break your wrist. I've had all sorts of, like, I've fractured eye socket, broken nose, punctured veins in my legs, all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us about your face.
It's beautiful. What do you think?
It's actually, it's incredible the way it does look, actually. As average as it is, it's incredible.
Why?
Tell us about your face planting and nearly dying, really.
So, yeah. So if people know me, they'll 100%
I couldn't
agree
believe
with
this story.
I like anything
I
that's...
don't think I can take much
No,
more.
this is honestly what a book it's going to be.
It is.
I like anything that's fast, basically. So I was really
Okay.
into mountain biking for a while. Like, really, really into mountain biking.
There's good bits round Dumfries for mountain biking.
Yeah.
That's where this happens, not maybe, or...
Yeah, but it was Crochtree, yeah. So what actually happened was 5 weeks before what you're talking about, I was at a farm just outside of Dalbeattie, and I walked past a cow and she decided she didn't like me, so she smashed me in the face, and she completely shattered my eye socket, and my nose was pointing like it was. Oh, it's pure comedy gold. Videoed it afterwards, like the state of my face was.
Have you got any photos?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
anyone watching the YouTube will slot in the photos.
Yeah.
So did she just run at you?
No, I walked past her head and she threw her head up on my face. I've never felt anything like it. Obviously, been around cows all my life, been kicked, been headbutted and things, but never. I just wasn't expecting it. It's my fault.
Real bad luck too, eh? Just
that
wrong
time.
time.
Usually should catch your arm and you'd
Yeah.
get a chance.
Yeah.
I was completely unconscious.
If you were as tall as me, you'd have been fine.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, completely unconscious. My face was pointing the wrong way, all that kind of stuff.
Knocked you out.
Oh yeah, cold. Like the
force
what
that must have.
I was like a train hitting me. I
Yeah.
swear it was like just completely and
Blacked out.
utterly annihilated me. Just
Were there other people there?
No, that's the funny thing, because when I went to the hospital, they said, "Oh, were you unconscious?" And I said, "Yeah, but only for a second." And they went, "How do you know that?"
Good point.
It felt like a second.
Yeah, it felt like a second. What happened was, I stood. I was a straw-bedded pen. Luckily, it wasn't concrete. And I stood up, and I was like, "Oh God, I tripped over." Did anyone see that? You know, you look around. The first thing you do, I thought I'd tripped over, and then I was like, "Why is my face so hot?" And then I looked down. There's blood everywhere. And I'm like, "Oh no, hold on a minute." And there was like 3 cows left, and I was like, "Oh, surely I can do them." So I did 2, and then my face was throbbing so much, I had to phone them. I'm like, "I'm so sorry, I need to go to hospital." So I went to hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, you're destroyed." Actually, on the way home, my sister had an argument with her father-in-law, and nobody kind of stuck up for her. And I'd seen him one day and said, "Hey, you leave my sister alone," you know. And he kind of had stuff to say about it. And that was it. But that was about a month before this happened, and she lived in Dalbeattie. So of course my nose is literally pointing at. It's hysterical, honestly. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments, how hysterical is that? So my nose is pointing this way, my eyes out here, blood still everywhere. And I thought, hold on, opportunity knocks. So I went round to my sister's house, knocked on the door, walks in and says, "I've just met your father-in-law." Walks through and my sister's like, and I'm like, she's like, "Oh yeah." And she starts crying and she's like, and then, of course I started laughing. What's your sister's immediate reaction when she realises you've been winding her up? She starts hitting me and whacking me. I'm like, no. So anyway, fast forward those 4 weeks after that had happened, I'd been into surgery and they fixed my nose and everything about 2 weeks after that. So about 4 weeks later, I was at Crochtree and I was on a bike doing, like, just going flat out basically.
And this is downhill mountain biking?
Downhill mountain biking, yeah. But it was in my off season, so I'd sold my good bike. So a good bike is full sus bike, so it'll have suspension at the back, suspension at the front. And I was on a hardtail, which you use more for fitness. And I kind of forgot I was on a hardtail, so there was no suspension on the back. I came through these trees and dropped off a drop, which was about 6 foot high, but I was flat out and cornering at the same time. And in my head, I thought I was on a fully suspension bike. So when I landed, I assumed my bike was going to take the force, but it didn't because there was no suspension. My feet were clipped into the pedals, so you can't take your feet off the pedals. And the first thing to hit the floor was my face. Oh my God. And all I heard was my friend was like about a minute and a half behind me. He come down, and by this time I was sitting on the ground. I don't remember any of that, but the first thing I can remember is your face is absolutely beat. And I'm like, calm down. And I can remember very clearly looking at Carrochtry, and I knew that place like the back of my hand, but I remember very clearly looking at it, and to this day I can still remember this, and saying to Scott, where are we? Like, what's that? Like, what is that? Pointing at Carrochtry. And he's like, it's Carrochtry. I'm like, but what is it? Like, I couldn't even understand that it was a building. Mm-hmm. Like, literally couldn't. So they wrapped me up like a mummy and blue lighted me to Dumfries and then to Glasgow, and my face was just completely destroyed. It was 73 stitches on my face.
And it would still be recovering from.
Well, that's the funny thing. So you could see my teeth through my nose.
Oh my goodness.
All of this side of my face was detached from my jaw, and you can still see that big scar. Look, you can see where they reattach it all.
Is that why you have the beard?
That's why I have the beard. No, the beard's mostly for a bite mark that I've got here, but partly for that, yeah.
What's a bite mark from? Is that human or animal?
Ashley,
Human,
you absolute rascal.
yeah. She's a keeper. Yeah, so I went to Glasgow. The funny thing is I went to Glasgow and I'm sitting there, and it took a 6.5 hour operation to kind of glue me back together. They kind of stuck me together in Dumfries to get me to Glasgow, and then they're all sitting around me in this pre-thing, and they're looking at me and they're like, oh, when you broke your nose. And I'm like, it was like try to speak. I'm like, yeah, that was four weeks ago. And but they hadn't made a very good job of it, and they're looking at each other and they're like, yeah, you've broken your nose again. So I actually broke my nose 3 times in the space of 12 months. But the good thing was they made a really good job of it the last time.
I was going to say your nose.
Yeah, it's fairly straight.
It's slightly off.
It is. I think it goes that way slightly.
That way, I think.
That way.
You're always looking in the mirror, so I'll confuse you. It's that way, I think. But it's
6.5 hour operation, and then for the next 2 weeks, because there were so many stitches inside my face, my friends would come down and completely take the mickey out of me. I would laugh, and then you'd just go ping, 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 ping. You could feel all the stitches coming out.
Just to make, just to cause you some pain. That's what friends are for.
Yeah. I remember we've got this really nice photo where it's a video actually of Ashley saying my fajitas, meaning hers, and she's got this beautiful picture that the old El Paso ones, not the spicy ones, the tomato ones, and it's like a video one. They're much better though. A video of it, and it's like my fajitas versus Graham's, and mine are in a cup. Like
blended,
just blended.
Oh,
like you absolutely
love it.
So yeah, that was a good.
And now obviously we say Ashley. Ashley's obviously your wife.
Yeah.
How did you meet?
She had a nice car, so I messaged her.
Like it. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, she was attractive too. So,
of course. It's a win-win.
So was it just a random ad? Like, was it?
Yeah, I was like, I really like your car.
Because Ashley's quite shy as well, is she not?
Yeah, she's really shy. Yeah, she's really shy. She's actually probably more shy now than she used to be. Yeah, weirdly.
Is she? Did she live nearby?
Yeah. But she had a boyfriend at the time. So
You rascal.
Those boyfriends.
Did he bite your face?
Ended up with four broken noses and
ended up with 4 broken noses. Yeah.
So you just had to wait your turn.
I just had to wait my turn.
That's terrible. You had to wait your time. That sounds terrible. That's not what I meant at all.
There was a queue. Yeah, Cammy, there was a queue.
You had to wait your time. But good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
So obviously, Ashley, now you've got 2 boys.
Yeah.
What age are they? Sorry.
Somebody asked me this earlier on, and it took me 3 attempts. 8 and 9, I think, was the final decision.
It's only a year apart, is it? Or
no,
is it just
there's 2.
Time of
he's
year?
nearly
It's
10. He's nearly 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. No, they're always the same age amount apart, Cammy.
It's just the numbers are slightly
the
different.
numbers are slightly different.
They never get closer. Will one ever catch up? No. No, interesting. But you also have a daughter. Is that right?
I do have a daughter. Yeah. This is a bit of
another chapter for the book.
That's another chapter. You can ask me as much as you want about it, but I could probably sit here and talk for hours. So my daughter's 19.
Yeah, that's enough. I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen her for a long time, and yeah, it's. Believe it or not, I've ever told you about the YouTube channel.
Yes, we'll talk about YouTube.
No, about the daughter YouTube channel. So
No.
I've got another YouTube channel this is the first time I've ever told anybody about this.
Right, there we go.
So I've got another
Exclusive.
YouTube channel, and I haven't seen my daughter for like 5 or 6 years now. I upload a video every single month to YouTube. It's so if anybody can see it, but they would have to know her full name probably to find that YouTube channel. And the idea is that when she Googles her name, she'll know I'm thinking about her every month. So I'll do an update every
God,
month
that's
saying
nice.
hello and all that kind of stuff. There's like 100 videos on there now. Yeah, it's
Some
mad.
man.
Yeah.
So that's obviously that's hard,
Oh yeah, massively hard.
and I
massively
assume
hard.
it's not your decision. That
Absolutely
you've
not.
had,
No,
yeah.
no. It's one of those things. I could sit here and say all these things, and then like my ex will have a side
Two
of the
sides to every
story, and
story.
like
Of course.
it's 100%
Yeah,
like
yeah,
It's just
course.
messy.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
really, really messy. And like for 9 years, 8 years, I did the longest school run in the world. I would do 359 miles, 358 mile round trip to pick her up from school on a Friday and then drop her back on the Sunday. And I did that like religiously for 8 years, and then it just went switch like that. And so you never know what you've got.
Yeah.
Well, no, I did know what I had, but you never know what's around the corner. And that's kind of why I live, like, you know, all the stupid toys I've got at home and stuff.
Yeah,
that's why.
Let's get into some of that stuff.
Why? What do you mean? That's why.
Well, I just think you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You've no idea. So appreciate right now. And I
Enjoy it.
really mean that.
Live
Like,
for now, yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody says that, and there's t-shirts saying that and that, but I don't think.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting something like that up on the wall.
Yeah.
Live, well, I was going to
Live,
get,
laugh, love?
I was going to get live, laugh, love, and then whatever you just said, and we'll just put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
YOLO?
YOLO. Yeah, YOLO live once. Yeah. No,
Anyway,
but-
so I'm the definition of somebody who actually lives for today. Like,
There's no doubt
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that, and I think this you've segued us nicely into the Hoof GP and how that started. Now, an interesting thing. Now you'd done a couple of goes at YouTube before you nailed it with the Hoof GP. Is that right? You tried.
yeah,
a
it was
couple of
100%
things.
for myself
Was
at
it
the time.
the
yeah.
Doctor? What was your first channel? You did a kind of channel before you settled on the
Oh
Hoof
no,
GP.
it was just like Graeme Parker. I was just like making videos of my cars and my kids and like all that kind of stuff, just purely to play around. to be honest.
yeah, and mixed. So then the Hoof GP started. Now,
Yeah.
an interesting thing about the Hoof GP, you're at 2.4. How many million subscribers? What's YouTube at?
2.1 on the main channel and 1.4 on the other one.
Okay, so over 3 million subscribers between two channels on YouTube, which is just insane.
It's mad.
Do you know what the
nuts,
most
isn't it?
insane thing is?
What?
The Hoof GP is a month younger than the Sheep Game.
That is.
I joined YouTube.
Come on, Cammy.
I know. I started the Sheep Game in
that right?
February. It was 5 years in February, so
19.
February 19, and you started in March
Yeah, that's right.
19,
That's right. Yeah.
a month after me.
That's insane.
Bloody is when you look at
Yeah.
what
Do you know
done.
when I actually started it? I started it on the 2nd of April because the week before that was my... No, 2 or 3 weeks before that was my brother's birthday. And when we were at my brother's 40th birthday, I said, I'm going to make 2 YouTube channels and I'm going to start them the first week in April. So that's how I know it was the first week in April.
There we go.
Yeah.
And how many subscribers are you on?
See, it's funny. I'm on 350,000, but that's not a fair reflection. I'm really closer to 100,000.
Why?
Well,
I know what you're going to say.
Graeme and I have spoken about this a lot. I had one YouTube short that went viral and got like 200, 300 million views. And
What was that of?
me shearing the sheep. But
Right.
it's all...
Was that a big massive one?
No,
it
it
wasn't even that
wasn't.
one. No, it was just a blackie. It was just me shearing that. It's like no edit to it. Just pulled the last blackie out for the day, showed
Yeah.
it.
It's so weird how.
It's weird how...
I think it
just
said
go
shearing a
viral.
sheep in 60 seconds or
That's
something.
it, gone in 60 seconds or something. It just went mental. And the annoying thing was, this is before YouTube Shorts were monetized. So that it probably could have made me $5,000 now. It made nothing at the time.
Yeah.
But you know, it brought in all these subscribers, but they're not really subscribers
Right,
because they
okay.
don't. Most of them don't speak English. If you look
Right,
at the
okay.
demographics, whereas Graeme's videos, you don't need to speak English to watch his videos.
No.
Mine, like, you basically need to speak Scottish to listen to watch
Yeah,
my
yeah.
videos. And I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a lot of comments about how I speak, but I'm talking a lot and I'm more vlogged style than Graeme's. Although you are a vlog, you're quite it's like everyone's like a wee mini documentary.
Yeah, I tried to do 3 different types of video. But,
you're
yeah,
very
totally.
and you're very visual. Whereas
Yeah,
I'm doing a lot of
Mm.
talking.
And I think that's where it differentiates as well. Yours appeals to that sort of, I don't know whether ASMR. I don't think that is the right.
Yeah, it's
it?
ASMR because he
ASMR.
uses nice music that draws you in and
But,
relaxes you. And
So it's even if you've got zero interest in farming
Yeah.
whatsoever, you're still going to enjoy
yeah,
watching
that's
that
where
video.
I get
whereas
very technical talking
you're-
about wormers and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
although
yeah.
you, to be fair, Graham's got the clever balance of if you're a hoof trimmer,
Mm-hmm.
you can watch his videos and learn something. But if you're
Me
Iona
sitting
Murray
on
sitting in the
Facebook.
house with your flatmate, with Rachel just watching it, he's both enjoy
Yeah,
it and learn
yeah.
stuff.
That was always my intention.
And that's tricky to
Yeah.
get that.
That I get a huge amount of people watch me in bed, and that's like that's why there's romantic music in it. And the romantic music is not about being romantic; it's to kind of pass on the emotion of how I feel about my life, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's love music and all that kind of stuff, but the words don't matter. It's the emotion behind the actual song.
Yeah.
And the idea is so that people watching it kind of go into a little bit of a trance on the longer
Mm-hmm.
videos, and it just kind of drift away, and they feel how I feel about my life. I remember we went to LA, and my sister, she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see somebody who sees you. I'll piss myself laughing." And I'm like, "Oh, it won't happen. Don't worry, it won't happen all the way over here. Plus, I'm clean and tidy." We literally went up to the passport office, and like, if you've been to the States,
No.
well, when you go up to like immigration, they look at you like you're an absolute criminal. Like you just feel like you've done something
Oh
wrong.
God, yeah.
Yeah, so we're flying into LAX basically. Went up to immigration, and there's this massive big black guy, literally like 7 foot tall, just a hulk of a guy, and they look at you like you're a total criminal. So he's looking at me with a ponytail and all clean and tidy and that, and looking at my passport, and he's looking at my passport, looking at me, and looking at my passport, and looking at me, and I'm like, oh great, like he's gonna say there's something wrong with my passport here, and he just looks up and he says, "You're the Hoof GP." I'm like, he's like,
That's
he's
mental.
No
like,
way.
man, I watch you in bed every night. I was like, okay. Like,
That is insane.
so, and my sister nearly wet herself, yeah. So.
Yeah, straight off the plane. And
Yeah,
and there
yeah,
it goes.
yeah.
And how do you find that? People sort of recognising you?
Massively. So I feel really embarrassed and stuff, but massively appreciative as well, because I also know that them coming up to me, like, it's quite difficult to do, and then won't be sure it's me and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But people are incredibly nice. Like,
Yeah.
it blows you away. Like, Cammy will get the same thing. People are so nice. It properly restores your faith in humanity, or it did for me.
But we have talked about this, and actually, this is again, you've gave us a segue into this because with Alan Blackwood, we had on, you know, he said a great thing. It's like, say what you like about me, just don't say it to me. And generally speaking, folk don't say bad things unless they're really nasty people.
Yeah.
And really, just the bad
Yeah,
folk,
that's right.
they won't come and say it to your face. They'll
Yeah.
whisper about you behind your back.
Yeah.
And you and you know, fortunately, you've been decent enough. We're going to talk about the revenue from this YouTube thing because it's
Go for it.
it's incredible. But let's, while we're on this subject, talk about, I suppose, jealousy would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Like, now, I've had people, not really actually had many people, everybody up here loves you, to be fair, but I know that you've had people locally
Yeah.
in your area who want to run you down.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I've been to court over one. Yeah, yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah. So somebody started some rumors, and basically, I'll tell you what it was. So somebody started some rumors, and they spread some TikTok things, and like basically calling me gay and saying this, that, and the other thing. And genuinely, I didn't care less that they called me gay. Why would I?
There was a cracking wee slogan that rhymes with Hoof GP.
Yeah. That's fair
A
enough.
derogatory term.
Come on, Iona. Hoof GP.
A derogatory term for homosexual people.
GP.
Hoof.
Oh,
Got it. Yeah.
I was focusing on the GP.
Yeah.
GP.
It was catchy. It was.
It was good. Yeah, I'm not gonna get a t-shirt made up anytime soon. Yeah, but basically what happened was this guy created this TikTok, and it was actually of Craig Rowland, the Crush, ironically. But anyway, it said, I've been doing these things with this guy and blah, 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 blah. And I genuinely couldn't care less.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me the slightest. I don't care if somebody's gay, straight, whatever. It's fine. And I don't care if somebody says about me either, because that doesn't affect me. Like,
No.
but anyway, but what did happen was, because it was me, people then, it kind of got twisted and contorted, and people then thought, yeah, actually that's true, and Ashley knows about it, and Ashley's okay with it, and then so Ashley became really upset, and that was what I was like, hold on a minute, like this is out of line.
It's one thing upset.
Yeah,
me,
yeah, and it was like he basically said like things about like disabled people and homosexuality in this post, so I knew that he could get in trouble for that. So basically, I thought, how do we nip this in the bud? And went to the police and said, look, this is the deal. And he basically said, yeah, I did it, but I mean, come on, look at his cars. And we were like, what? And he's like, well, look at his cars. He, if he's got cars like that, he deserves things like that. And I was like, no. And the individual in particular is very well known locally for doing what he does to lots of other people. So I thought, right, I'll just let this go all the way to its conclusion. Because I thought, there's no smoke without fire, is there? And I thought, well, that's what people say, and that'll follow me around if I don't nip it in the bud somehow. Yeah. And it was quite a difficult thing to do, actually, because you don't want somebody to get in trouble. I absolutely didn't want anybody to get in trouble. But at the same time, like, what else you do? You can't let people be like that.
Sends a good message too, I think.
Yeah.
You touched on your cars. What kind of cars do you have?
Oh, I've got cars. It's just
fancy
family cars, Fancy
cars?
Iona has a Nissan Duke.
Ooh.
I love my car.
My sister
You made a
has
comment
Duke.
about me having what did you say?
No, what I said was you're making a fortune. Like, why don't you treat yourself to another car? But no, actually, it was to your credit.
you.
No, I know.
In the wrong way.
But you took it.
Love my
Iona
car.
took it the wrong way. I was kind of saying, like, good on you, you're making a fortune, but you still drive about in a car like this. And she took it offensively. Like, what you saying
How
about the car?
else is she going to take that?
I love my Duke.
I was saying she was frugal with her money, and she can spend it on lovely holidays to Thailand.
Is that where you go when you get spare money? Thailand.
More money to spend on mushrooms.
And I suppose the fancy cars leads us all back
Get them
to the
don't let them off with
revenue.
it. Get them to tell you what cars
Okay,
they
can we
has.
put them up on the screen?
Yeah, we'll put
for the
pictures
YouTube?
up on the
'Cause
screen.
I know, but I'm saying that because I know what everybody says. I won't know unless it's like an Aston Martin.
Yeah, you probably even wouldn't know then, would you?
You know what?
You'll know the brands. You
Right,
won't know the
okay.
brands. Go and try.
So we've got a Porsche. That's my favourite one.
Okay, right.
know
Yeah, I
Porsche,
know Porsche.
yeah.
Is it the classic sporty one or is it a big one?
It's the beast one.
Is
It's
it?
like, so there's only a
But
couple of hundred of
it
them.
will be like the classic sporty one you're kind of thinking of, but it's like the
On
biggest version of
steroids.
it.
There's only a couple.
okay.
So there's only a couple of hundred of them in the world, which is why I bought it. It's actually worth about £80,000 more now than it was when it was brand new.
How much was it?
Well, I paid £330,000 for it.
Okay.
So
When was
What
that?
do you think about that?
last year.
I want to know more.
Do you know what blew my mind was, and down at Graham's quite regular, but one of the first times we were down seeing the new cars, and we'll hear the rest of them in a second. There's 4. Well, you've got 5 really, 6 including Ashley's and the BMW. 6
Yeah.
fancy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the buggies and everything else, and then the banger Nissan that still goes, and the Ranger. So I were at 8, 9, yeah,
Okay.
a few cars. But I says to him, mate, is this no such a waste of money? Like all these things, like all this money you've put into this, and he's like, these 4 cars have went up 80 grand in value. Well, maybe it was just that one you were talking about went up 80 grand in value.
Yeah, just the Porsche. Yeah.
Like I think I had in my head, because they're expensive cars, it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're so
It's
expensive,
an investment.
it's actually making money.
Yeah,
that's
if
2
you buy
years'
the right-
wages. That's
if you buy the right one, yeah.
that's 2 years' good wages made.
That's why I bought the
Just
Porsche.
and you still drive it.
Yeah, still drive it. Yeah.
It's not like you have to sit it in a glass case.
Yeah.
Mad, isn't it?
Have you got any jobs going?
That's enough now. That's enough.
Graham, have you ever thought of starting a podcast?
You would be good on these stories, by the way. So Porsche. Actually, tell us the name of it, because some people will know
So we've got a
Porsches.
Porsche GT2 RS. So it's the fastest car in the world, fastest production car in the world round a racetrack.
But not faster than a Bugatti Veyron.
Around a racetrack it is.
Is it? Because it
Yeah.
corners better? Oh,
Because the corner's better,
Bugatti's-
brakes better. You got to beat it in a straight line,
Yeah,
but
it's okay.
like Nürburgring, it annihilates everything. It's just incredible. It is absolutely. It's a complete animal. It is.
See fancy cars like that. Do you like what do you drive in here today?
The pickup, because one of my buggies was
It's
stuck.
up with the trailer.
So it's
Right,
really
Exciting. Ford Ranger.
I drive them everywhere. Yeah,
So you would just drive them day to day?
yeah, constantly. All my friends drive them. Everyone drives them. Yeah, genuinely.
But you don't drive them in the winter,
Yeah, do.
do you?
Yeah.
Some man. A lot of folk
Have
are
you
funny,
ever
aren't they, because of
driven
the grit and that. But then you've got the detailer guy. Who'll
Yeah,
keep it
yeah.
right,
So we look after them. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
it's just his friends drive them.
Oh, right.
Yeah. If you wanted to drive it, I swear,
actually
honestly,
would.
anybody would drive
Well,
them.
I mean, it wasn't
Anyone
that
could
long
drive them.
ago. I was pickupless for. Oh, the gearbox went,
Yeah, that's right.
and I had shearing.
Can you
jobs.
imagine the panic, folks? You get a text one night from Cammy Wilson. Mate, can I borrow your pickup?
Do you know what I thought? I genuinely thought, mate, he's the only person I know that would say yes. I just thought Graham wouldn't actually care. He would just have a laugh about it if I banged it. So that's why I messaged him. I thought he's the only guy that just wouldn't care.
I was just picturing you turn up this scanning job in the Porsche.
Imagine. He's a lift out with this crate, will he? So yeah, no, that's exactly. So he gave me that pickup. So that's a prime example. Yeah, but we'll need to, at some point we have downtime, we'll get a spin in them. We keep saying
100%,
but it's
yeah.
getting time. But so the Porsche GT2.
We've got a Lamborghini Huracan Performante, which is like, there's only a few hundred of them as well.
You've heard of them?
A Lamborghini, yeah.
Yeah.
How much is a Lamborghini?
Just under 200,000.
What colour is it?
Matte black.
Nice.
Was that custom? Did you buy it second hand?
Yeah. So
Porsche second hand, that's second hand.
yeah, but specifically to be those models. For instance, the Porsche, they only made those Porsches for 4 months. They only made that Lamborghini for 6 months. So it had to be. They're both actually 2018s.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, the Lamborghini's worth exactly what it was when it was new. So it was worth a little bit more than what I paid for it. The Porsche went up. Then had a couple of McLarens. We've got a McLaren just now.
But that was brand new.
It was brand new, yeah.
How much was that?
Yeah, it was 305.
Because I remember seeing
it's
your
beautiful
videos, you going to pick, I tell some of the crazy stuff you had to pick, like the fabric for the seats, the dash.
Yeah.
What other stuff did they talk you through and that?
Like monochromatic sunroof.
What's that?
So the one we've got, you're actually talking about a different one that we ordered, but basically the one that we've got, it's got these options on it that are absolutely crazy, like really crazy. It's got this sunroof, right? You press a button and it kind of almost changes color. Like you press it and it, I think it's a different color. $9,000. I didn't pick that. It was already on it. $9,000.
That's more than my car.
Do you want to hear an even?
That's more than my whole
Do you want
car.
to hear an even better one than that? The Lamborghini's got a cup holder. $3,000 option.
To put a cup holder in the
Put a cup.
Lamborghini.
It is a good cup holder.
It
It's
must
cool.
be. It
It's
must
cool.
be.
Again, I
Did you just put a loose change in it and that,
couldn't
like everyone else?
I couldn't have picked that for. I couldn't have brought myself to do it, but
With
was
the
on it.
McLaren, must have been the previous one. You told me a story that you reversed into a bollard, and it was how much to get the new wee plastic bit fixed at the back?
$32,000.
A bit of plastic. Well, it's fiberglass or whatever. but-
Yeah. Do you know what else we did with that McLaren? So picture the scene. Now my wife was not happy about this, but I honestly think a lot of people would have done the exact same thing. So the exhaust come out the roof, like out the top of the car, and it like flames come out. So when
That's
it's
right, you
hot,
showed me
it
that,
really
yeah.
shoots flames, and obviously they're kind of facing up. Now I've got a shed full of fireworks, and I'm looking at that exhaust thinking, hold on a minute, that's pointed skywards and flames come out of it. If I put a firework in there or a few in there and then give it a couple of revs, it's going to set fireworks off, innit? So I'm thinking, that'd be a good idea. But I kind of misjudged things. So I got the fireworks and I put them in the exhaust, revved it up, and yeah, it got hot, but it didn't quite shoot flames. So I gave it a bit more rev. And they caught fire, but as they caught fire, the exhaust gases popped the fireworks out of the exhaust. So now they're lying on the top of my car as my wife's looking out the window, and they shoot off right up my driveway underneath her car and explode.
Oh
she was going nuts. But the good thing was it was all on CCTV.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Can we get that footage for the YouTube video?
yeah, you can get that.
There we go. That's gonna. Folk are gonna love this on YouTube. All this extra stuff.
So how much money do you have?
Not very much.
That's quite a direct. But I was going to ask more about YouTube revenue.
Yeah,
not
okay,
how much.
sorry, yeah.
Can we get your bank statement for the YouTube? Just,
We'll blur out. We'll blur out.
we'll blur out nothing.
The address. Just the address.
Yeah, just his address. Yeah.
So what I've done, I'll be honest. What I've
Even
done
not
is-
everybody knows where he stays.
Yeah, try to spend as much of it as possible.
Okay.
Like buy houses, buy cars, buy things like that, so that I can't keep spending it on crap. Like that's
But it's
genuine.
mad. Like folk.
Yeah.
Like, and I was one of them. Like, my God, mate, the amount of money you're wasting here on all these cars. But then when you actually talk me through it and how much they'd went up in value,
Yeah,
I was like,
But also,
well, what can I say?
Cammy,
It's like,
why are we so conditioned to things have to make money? It's waste of money if it's not. If it brings you joy and you can afford it, why
do you know
not?
what is a waste of
he's
money?
got 4 of them.
Yeah, but do you know what
You
is
can
a
only
waste of
drive one
money?
you can only drive one at a time.
That's a
But
pessimistic.
it brings them joy. What else is he
his
doing
fri-
with it?
But my friends drive the other
His
ones.
friends drive the other ones. They can
Yeah,
go. They can
okay.
go. They can recreate the scenes from Too Fast, Too Furious and all that.
Yeah,
Pull up
yeah,
the
yeah.
lights together.
Yeah.
Don Toretto. No, I'm Don this time.
We were gonna actually. We took the cars all to Knockhill one time, me and my friends, and one of my friends like. He almost thinks they're his cars because he drives them that much, I was like, I've got a surprise for you. I've got a surprise for you, and he's like, what is it? I've got a surprise for you. And his favorite car was this McLaren that we used to have, And I was like, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And I'd got all the silage sheet repair tape, and I'd like covered it in this livery with his name and like number 2 on it. And he was raging that it didn't say number 1. He was just like, it's like, where's the number 1?
I'm number 1.
Yeah, I'm number 1, exactly. Yeah.
So has like your success money-wise, has that all come from YouTube?
Yes and no. So it's not a case of make videos, put them on YouTube, and YouTube gives you loads of money.
Okay.
It's been more the decisions I've made around YouTube and the success of that channel. So you could just put the videos on there and you would make some money, yeah. But I've diversified it like into different things. Like if you want to talk about revenue streams, we have about 10 or 11 different revenue streams, all coming from the Hoof GP. Like from everything, from online. We've taught more people how to hoof trim than anyone else in the world now. Yeah. So because I know how many online sales we've got of hoof trimming courses.
Yeah, so
it's about that.
You have your courses, you've got your merch, you've got your courses, you've got advertisements and sponsorship things you do. The big one will be, or certainly will be soon, the Hoof Grip Pro, the HGP
It's
Glow.
growing all the time, and that's do you know that's genuinely awesome. And again, that's not even about the money. That is, well, it is about the money, but
it's a great product.
It's putting an awesome product into people's hands, and it's helping people, because I always wanted that, and now we've got it, and I make money from it.
You're so fortunate that you don't need the money.
Yeah,
we always want more money to grow things bigger and bigger, but you don't need the money, so there's absolutely no point in you doing an inferior product.
Yeah, do you know?
Because you don't need any more money. It's not that you need quick money.
Yeah, that's right.
Like if they cut, if people you're dealing with, working with, aren't the best, you're not bothered.
That's
you've still got McLaren in the shed.
Yeah. That's absolutely it. Like that glue. We were at a farm today. Genuinely, we were at a farm today. Hello, Sam, if you're listening, because he listens to this. We're at a farm today, and I said, Sam, do you ever find blocks around this? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what? He's like, oh, about 4 months ago, I found one in the dry cow shed. And like, that's not how glue works. Like normally you lose like up to 20%, whereas our block retention is like massively higher. And it's because Hoof Tight, the guys I work with in California, sent me like dozens and dozens of different tubes of glue and different formulations. I'm like, nah, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. And we kept tweaking it, and now it works.
And did you hang yourself upside down from the forklift for everyone, or just...
Have you not done
enough to your face, Graeme? For God's sake!
Do you know the funny thing? So Cammy's talking about basically an advert we did. Have you seen it?
No.
So I always thought this glue is seriously strong because it's 27% break strength. Percentage-wise, it's 27% stronger than any other glue for cow's feet. Okay. So I was like, I think this would hold me upside down. I really think it would. So I thought, what would be a good advert? So I thought, if I do an advert advertising glue and it's just normal like this, and I'm like, this is fantastic, but then when it zooms out, actually I'm hung upside down by my feet using hoof glue, turned upside down. So I did it, and I was absolutely bricking it.
Did it hold you up?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Did it actually?
Yeah,
you wouldn't have seen the advert if it didn't.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's it. But the annoying thing is I had to do it twice because I like things to be, camera. No, I like to do things properly, and the person holding the camera was pointing it slightly downwards, so it didn't look like I was high. Yeah. When actually I was.
Did it ruin your shoes?
Yeah, they're still in my shed. They're still stuck
covered in glue.
So I
still stuck to the pallet. Was that a pallet or what were you?
It was a what do you call it? Railway sleeper.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I cheated with was I'm a size 9 and I got size 8 shoes because I thought, I want these to be tight.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you don't slip out them.
Yeah, you can see in the video actually when it first started, you can see my face is like bright red.
Yeah.
Can you put the advert up?
Yeah, we'll put the ad on this as well on YouTube.
And you can see. Yeah,
but I don't know if my knee joints could take being hung upside down. I think my knees are strong enough.
Do you not?
Terrible knees.
But would your knees really take?
A lot of pressure in your
No, my
sockets.
knees were fine. My knees were fine. There was the pressure on my ears and stuff. My head must weigh a ton. Yeah.
Aye. Big head, it's been said before.
Yeah, it's been said before. Big head.
That Graeme Parker.
Nice fella. Big head.
Aye.
Right there. Slang.
Slang.
But he's
Scottish.
He's that's Scots.
That's Scots.
Yeah.
He's Scots. Are we accepting?
Yeah, Scots.
Do the thing.
And that was Scots are slang. It's just like that now. We're gonna that'll be the recurring theme now when somebody says something, we can bring it up. So Graeme's been good because when I said about coming up here, I says like I want to get into things. I want you've done lots of podcasts. I've listened to probably most of them, as I do with a lot of the folk I know that do podcasts, whether it's ones you've done in America or ones with other people we know, but one thing you never talk about, they are very polite and don't know you as well as I know you.
There is
So I
that.
want to actually just ask you straight.
We'll go with they're more polite.
They are more polite, no doubt about that. Yeah. And folk will start to realise that theme. I'm always asking about money on this because nobody wants to talk about money.
Yeah.
So it's great to just put them on the spot. But I know I've teed you up before and said I was going to ask you this. So YouTube, how much does that make a month?
So I'll be completely honest. So right now, currently, it makes about £50,000 a month, but it's not a realistic reflection of what it actually makes
Because it's Christmas time.
No, because I sold my back catalogue.
What does that mean?
So 18 months ago, I sold the rights to every video I've got for previous to the 1st of June 2022 to a company in California, which is hence the reason I've been to California a few times. So I sold the rights to all of that for a lump sum.
So does that mean they can use those videos? What does that mean?
That means they get every penny of revenue from all of those videos for 5 years as of the 1st of June last year. So rather than the money coming to me, it gets diverted to them. But
Why is that a benefit to you?
because I might break my leg, I might die, YouTube might fall off, and then I would have no money. So
Yes.
basically, they said, right, we'll come here. You can have X amount of money right now. You'll get it all right now, and then we'll take the revenue for the next 5 years. They're gambling that the revenue from those videos is going to be more than what they
gave
paid
you.
me in the lump
What
sum.
did they pay you in the lump sum?
That's good. It's good, Iona. It's better coming from Iona. It's harder to.
Yeah. So I want to be clear. I really want to be clear. I'm answering this because you guys will want to know, and I'm not saying it thinking, "Oh, I'm fantastic."
Oh, mate,
I don't
I'm
want.
honest. I'm honest, mate. I think any sensible person watching this will be. It's to your credit. You are so honest.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I was offered 1.4 million from one company in Canada.
Pounds or dollars?
That was dollars. $1.4 million. For
As if it matters. I'm like, listen to me.
That's a
but
big
hang on.
difference.
Was
That's
that
a big-
dollars?
that's a big difference.
I don't listen to me. I'm actually just thought to myself, what am I talking? Why am I saying that?
I'm so glad you pulled yourself up there. I didn't even register. I'm doing
I know. It's like, did he just say pounds or dollars? As if it matters. So sorry, 1.4.
Yeah, so they
million
offered me
dollars.
1.4, but they wanted the rights to the videos in perpetuity, so forever.
And that was the first time you've ever heard that word.
Yes, genuinely had to. I'm not even joking. I swear I had to Google it. I'm like, perpetuity. Hold on a minute.
Is that Scots or slang? I missed that trick there.
In perpetuity is definitely slang.
Is that Scots or slang, mate? Let me explain that.
Yeah, so I decided not to do that because it was more of a risk.
Yeah.
I just thought, nah. So yeah, that kind of deal took like 4 months to pass up on. Eventually, I made the decision, right, I'm not taking it. And then a company from California, eventually we got to the figure of 780,000. So that was pounds. So it was like $900,000 at the time for 5 years. So yeah, that's what it was. And the idea is, like, my brother was like, "You're crazy. They're going to make more money from you." And I'm like, "Yeah, they probably will. Well, they have to. That's kind of what they're betting on."
Yeah.
But I could break my leg tomorrow. People might demonetize these videos. YouTube might fall off. Like,
It's a
anything
safety
could
net.
happen. It's a safety net. Think about it from my point of view. At that point, I had been doing YouTube videos for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and somebody said, "Here's $1 million almost."
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh, a boy could dream.
Yeah.
And are there like clauses like you have to do certain a number of videos or?
No, because they've just.
Yeah, no, there is.
Any-
She's right. She's
Oh,
right.
is that so? So anything you do now, they still get the revenue.
No. So that's what I'm saying. So
Oh, but you have to keep the channel going.
you have to keep the channel going because as soon as you stop the channel, YouTube goes, they're not really doing anything. So the rest of your videos go down. So that's why the revenues now, this month it's like £50,000 because 1st of June, obviously, I went from having like $60,000 or $70,000 a month in YouTube to zero. So now effectively I had to start from zero the 1st of June. So does that make sense?
No.
Do you understand? Right. So on the 1st of June,
They started getting all the money.
they got every penny that
Yeah.
I made. So all of my money from
1st of June
YouTube
back.
went to such and such. So the 2nd of June, all of my previous videos weren't making money anymore, were they?
Okay, with you. Right. Okay.
so I've
it's
had to
purely
build
on-
up from zero again to where we are right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
6 months to back to 50 grand a month. So you've got the £1 million or
18 months.
900,000. Oh yeah, June last year. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. So you've got that cash in the bank essentially tucked away, invested.
Well, the tax man's got quite a bit of it.
That's
now.
the other problem, yeah. But you're back at 50,000 a month off that.
Yeah.
Plus your other streams.
Yeah.
Brilliant, mate.
Yeah.
It's actually class.
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying to you before
It's
this
actually
podcast
brilliant.
started, we were talking about money kind of loosely, and I was saying like, obviously the money like changes your life and it does things and all this kind of stuff, and we've helped family limitlessly. It's like, well, not limitlessly, but it's been fantastic to be able to help people. But it's more of a like, oh, look at the chips I'm getting, like the tokens, like I'm doing well. Like it's a measure of success. Like not that if you're not making money, it's not a measure of success. But for me, it is. It's like, oh, I've increased it this month. I've increased it, so I'm growing, and it's more about growing than having more money.
Yeah, well,
It's really difficult.
You've got
to
all the money
express.
you need.
I know,
Yeah,
that's what I was
exactly,
gonna say.
exactly.
But you're still chasing these videos and
Yeah.
doing all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
easy to lose the motivation.
Yeah,
If you didn't enjoy it,
Yeah.
or if you didn't enjoy,
I love it.
But the actual hoof tournament itself, like, I think we kind of glossed over how you actually got into that. But, well, apart from that, you started, how you actually got so good at it. But I suppose that's your personality. Just look at the videos. You're just a bit of a obsessive on these things.
Yeah.
But, like, the hoof trimming alone, I've been out with you a couple of times doing videos and stuff. But the last time I was out, I remember thinking we left the house about 7 o'clock and we were back for about 12:30. And we did about 70 cows.
Yeah.
We did about 70 cattle at 3 different spots.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
5 hours, 70, and let's see, what would you charge per head roughly? Just
Tenner.
a tenner, 700 quid by 12:30.
yeah,
So
all
the
right,
hoof-
all right, you've got Craigie to pay.
Yeah.
You've now got,
Yeah.
All right, well, the diesel wasn't much because you're still towing a big thing. It's still a bit of diesel. It's fairly local jobs though.
Yeah.
So it wasn't huge
So I
outlays.
touched on my stepfather earlier on. He was a cattle hoof trimmer, and one of Davy's massive downfalls was he always felt like he was doing like a favour for a mate kind of thing, and never run it as a business, ever run it as a
Okay.
business. So YouTube has no reflection on my business whatsoever, other than it's beneficial to my customers, because ever since I started YouTube channel, I've never increased prices, and I never will as long as it's there. I want to keep it. So I'm now probably cheaper than most hoof trimmers, because obviously I'm making a revenue from somewhere else. So it means I can help my customers in a way that
But
I
you
couldn't have
have
otherwise.
the benefit as well. Although you're saying you might be cheaper than others,
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
you only do the jobs you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're cheaper to pint because you
Yeah.
want the work.
Yeah.
Like,
That's right.
you don't want any more work. You just
Yep.
want the
Yeah.
jobs. And surely one of your biggest, and I've said this before, one of your biggest strings in your bows, or certainly one of your biggest cheerleaders, Rory Christie.
Yeah.
Like now, Rory, I've spoke with Rory 2 or 3 times at various things, and he'll absolutely listen to this podcast. I know he will. It'd be fair to say he wouldn't be an easy man to please. Like if you weren't good at your job, you'd be out of there.
If Rory's listening to this, every time he comes up, don't be over trimming them. Don't be over trimming them. Every single time.
Aye.
And fair play to him, because
He's on it.
Yeah, he's
what
on
a
it.
business.
And
But
it's
I think
great.
that's such a mark
Yeah.
for you, that the fact you do his, he'll be loving this. But see the fact you do his
It
cattle.
took a few years to be allowed to do them.
Yeah, there you go.
It
But that's what I
did-
mean.
it
The
did
fact
take
you
a few-
is for anybody that doubts your abilities at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't last 5 minutes with him if you weren't on it.
Yeah, no, yeah. He doesn't suffer any fools, and although I get on with him really well, if we weren't doing the job, goodbye, Graeme, and that's fine. That's what I want. If there's something negative to say, like if somebody's praising you, you don't really learn anything. You don't change and become. You don't.
That's why I'm so
deviate.
hard on Iona.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if somebody's criticizing you, like you need criticism to grow, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously need a lot more criticism. Iona.
You've got her, mate. You've got her. But
I
listen,
had to make my own coffee when I got here.
I honestly, like, I'm looking at this thing now. We're at nearly an hour and a half. This could run on for 2 hours.
I know. I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
We need another one.
I think we should just we'll leave it at that now, and maybe see when the book's coming out, we'll get you back up to chat.
Is the
some
book
more
coming out?
stories.
Is it?
I think we
Please.
basically know a lot of the secrets now anyway, so just get it out there. I mean, I'd finished off here. I wrote like, what's for the future, but like, could you see yourself buying a farm?
Did I not tell you about this?
Well, that's it. I'm pretending like I don't know anything.
Oh.
Like I'm asking you as if like the viewers are watching.
I mean, you would never do that. I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, I already knew what he made from YouTube, and I knew about that deal and all that. But you've got to.
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, what's the point in going? Aye, and well done your deal, by the way, mate. And
I'm
folk are
open.
like,
I'm
"What's
an
the deal?"
open book. I'm an open book.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's no point in me going, aye, that was good, that deal you did, eh? Which, you know, you've got to
100%.
say, what, you know.
No, I know.
He's a professional.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not trying to
he's just-
deceive. I'm not
he's
trying to
just-
deceive anyone. It would be a terrible interview if I was just like, well, I know all the answers to that. What did you have for dinner?
He's just very good at masking that he's a professional.
I'm good at pretending I'm an amateur. So for the future, do you see yourself? Will you buy a farm or?
I'll buy land.
Yep.
I'll buy land.
Bill
So we
Gates.
were right on the. What was that?
I said, all right, Bill Gates.
What will you do on the
Just
land?
want all the land.
I was
land is the
right
future.
on the cusp of buying our. You know, I said we had a fantastic family home that had.
Yeah.
I was right on the edge of buying it about 2 months ago, probably.
Right.
And good old Scottish ADS tax got in the way. It was going to cost us £163,000 in ADS tax because there's a property, a dwelling on the farm, and it just made it unjustifiable at the time.
Yeah, but,
so
Graeme was telling me this on the way to get Fiona, actually.
yeah.
I've not even mentioned the Fiona thing, really, but...
The who?
Exactly. She's actually behind you. And very quickly, I'll just say the whole Graeme thing happened because I initially thought we could do it by boat, and I thought, who would I know that's got a boat? And we bought it for a laugh, and that's how I phoned you, and then you're like, we don't have a boat, but we could do this.
Yeah.
And we could use the buggy, and that's how it all came. But we'll not go into the Fiona thing again. But when you told me about that on the way up the road, about the farm and this tax thing, and I just said a dig at you saying, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because it's taxing the rich. I'm like, good on them. Like, you should be paying more. Do you know what I mean? 2 homes. It's a disgrace. So I'm very much the Robin Hood. Like, yeah, tax the rich. Give to the poor. It might help this bloody Scottish budget that we've got now, this
Oh
new
my
tax
God,
thing.
yeah.
That's one for the Q&As next week.
Yeah.
But listen, we've got to watch the time because I've got to sit and edit this and it's already at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, wow.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, thanks for coming up, honestly.
Yeah,
I think... and
That's
thanks,
been amazing.
yeah.
Can I be honest?
I'm going
I didn't come up for this. I come up to get my buggy.
No, that's right. Because I did ask him, they said I don't have time. Well, you were always going to come, but he said I don't have time
of course
before.
I was. Of course I was. Yeah.
I don't have time just now, but then it just fitted in great. So no, thanks for coming up, mate. It's been fantastic. I'm sure there'll be a million questions, a million other things I could have asked, but we'll cover them next time.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, folks.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
Well, what about that?
I loved it.
That
Like,
was
I
good.
really, really, really loved it.
Graeme is good. I mean, he's obviously a natural entertainer. Like, he speaks well,
Yeah.
but like, I'm not blowing smoke, or it's not like, oh, we got a big name on here, so I'm going to be really nice to him.
No.
Like, Graeme is a mate. I will speak to him at least once a week about various things, not just about YouTube, just about life and just other general things you chat to your pals about. He's a good guy. Ashley's, his wife, is fantastic. Craig and Kev and the whole team that work with him, and even his sister and his extended family, they're actually all just a laugh. You
Yeah.
know, like, we were at Graeme's 40th last year, and yeah, it's just a rare party.
Oh,
He
where
did,
did
he did a great thing at his 40th whenever he mentioned the podcast. So for Graeme's 40th, the most expensive birthday party I've ever been
Where
to.
was it?
It was I'm getting this shocking that I forgot. It's in New Galloway.
Okay.
Gigi's Rayshard.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I've seen weddings and stuff there.
It's
So nice.
Amazing.
Is it?
Oh, it looks like out into the, I don't know if you call it the estuary or the Forth or whatever it is down there, the water down there. And yeah, big whole glass front. And it is a wedding venue.
Yeah.
But he had his 40th there, and there was ribbon dancers hanging from the ceiling.
Stop.
Yeah, so
it.
you're like eating dinner and there's folk like throwing themselves off the ceiling on ribbons.
Oh my.
He had a guy, like a singer that was flown up from London. Did like a Sinatra thing, like, and he was incredible.
Was that when you were having like? What
So
was
that
the setup?
was-
Did you have a meal and stuff?
Oh yeah, it was like a full meal.
So it was like a wedding basically.
Yeah, well, there was like, was there a magician? I can't remember if there was a magician. There might have been a magician as well for the kids.
Oh my.
Yeah, I think it was a magician too for the kids. It was very much, there's loads of exciting things for the kids to do.
Yeah.
And they had like a whole game area, like fun play area set up for the kids.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, it was great. So they were all loving it and running about mad. And
Yeah.
he did a great thing. So, you know, obviously, as you've heard there, he's got a pound or two, right? So some might think, oh, free bar. But he actually did a really, really clever thing that I'd never seen before. It was a kind of free bar in that when you ordered your drinks, the bar staff would play your cards right with you. And if you got it right, your round was free. And if you got it wrong, you paid for it.
I love that idea.
Really good. And it means that more often it's easy, it's easy to be right because, if you get a 10, your next card, if you say lower, you've almost got a 80% chance of being right. Okay, if you pull a 6, it's a bit more difficult.
Right,
but
so how does it work?
I'll play your cards right.
Yeah.
So you basically like higher or lower
Okay.
than, if you have a 6, is it going to be higher or lower than a 6?
Like the next card.
The next card.
Right, okay.
So if you got it right, your drinks are free. If you got it wrong, you paid for it.
Right.
But it was a really clever way to stop people being stupid.
Yeah.
Because, a free bar, totally free bar, folk
Yeah.
go, give us that bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
You know, I'll have 20 shots.
Yeah, they take the mic.
They take. Whereas if they might be landed with a bill,
Then they're not going
they're
to.
much more sensible.
That's a great idea.
Wasn't it? Genius.
Yeah,
So
really
most of
good
the drinks
idea.
were free. We only paid for one round out of maybe 5.
Yeah.
It's just your luck. It's just total luck, but you have a high chance of winning.
Yeah.
But it's still
That's a
enough
good
just to
idea.
stop you being silly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was clever. But yeah, loads of interesting stuff there.
I love that I didn't know anything about him before he came in.
Yeah.
Because I loved it.
And what did you think you were going to think of him?
I didn't realise there was that much depth. Well, obviously you don't.
Yeah.
Because I've watched some of his videos online. I didn't know much about him, literally at all. But I mean, I don't think anybody could see those stories coming.
No, not unless you really know him. Yeah, I think it's a life lived.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, and he's still got a couple of years on him yet. And the fantastic thing, as we said in that podcast, and I hope Rory Christie will definitely listen to this, so I'm trying to get him on the podcast as well. Drop me a text. Get my number from Graeme, drop me a text, Rory, we'll get you on here. Because it'd be great to come in and hear from him. He, obviously, big-time dairy farmer, speaks at a lot of big events about the industry. So we'll get him in. But, you know, that is it's the first place I ever went to do a video with Graeme. Was down there, and like obviously impressive setup. But for anyone that thinks that Graeme just makes videos and that, like he's actually working in some huge dairy farms, you know, with people like Rory that wouldn't suffer any fools. You know, he's bloody good at what he does, which impresses me as well.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that does obviously come across in the videos. You can tell the way he does it.
Yeah.
He's very good at it. So yeah, really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did as well. We'll be back on Thursday with another podcast talking. Get your questions in. Podcast at fedbyfarmers.co.uk. Nothing's off limits. Ask anything. We'll talk about various things. We have the NFU AGM coming up. We're going to be going to that. We should announce. We're going to try and grab some little interviews while we're there, out on the road for the first time. See how it goes. Might not be so easy, but yeah, plenty happening. So thanks for watching that one. We're pushing on the 1 hour 45 minutes probably now, which is crazy.
Worth it though.
I thought about doing 2-parters, but who wants a 2-parter?
I don't think anybody wants to. Well, they can let us know, but I just think you pause it.
Yeah, just come back to it.
Yeah.
So there we go. I'm sure this is, if you're at this part, you're probably in your second sitting.
Yeah.
Good on you for seeing it through. That's us for this one. Thanks again to Crystalix and Animax for sponsoring the podcast. Absolute legends. I've been Cammy.
And I've been Iona.
And we're both fed by farmers.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Traysure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
Crystalix Extra High Energy Feed Blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalix Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalix range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalix-global.com.